how to pack a parachute. Chuck a weight in your tray. Stow your brakes. Brake lines on your index finger, X lines between the next finger. Okay. Run your hands down the lines. Check the lines in good condition. Parachute a good old shake. Step out of the lines. Check brake lines untangled. Next line groups tangled. Pull the brakes through the grommets. Not tangled, not twisted. Not tangled, not twisted. Get lines onto your shoulder. Flaking out the nose cells. To the logo patch. Count your cells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Make sure the attachment point's in the same zip point. Give it a little shake. Put your nose cells between your knees. Put the helmet on. Make sure your slider's fully expanded. Get that behind you. Separate out the canopy so you've got a nice line going down between your A's and your B's, and fold between your B's and your C's, making sure all the fabrics are to the outside, and last fold between your C's and your D's. You get these attachment points all nicely lined up. Make sure all your stabilizers are out to the outside. Repeat on the same opposite side. Try and keep your pack job nice and symmetrical. Down, quarter your slider. On one hand, make sure the slider's nicely exposed. Stabilizers just down the side of the slider. So it's going to be the first thing that catches air. Nose cells nice and neat. Down to your shoulder, stabilizes over, use your foot to grab the tail, to the depth patch in the center seam, around your lines, stick a knee in so you don't disturb your pack job. And the other side. Support the lines on the back of your wrist so they're not going anywhere. Run your finger down the seams, pulling the tail away from the bulk of the canopy. A few twists in the top, roll against your hip. Down. If you stick that fold between your knees, you can just squidge out all the excess air. And tighten up the roll. That's what you're going to do gently. You don't want to undo all your efforts packing. And lay it down gently. Keeping the lines nice. Now you get your pack job on the floor. Make sure your bag's the right way around. Get all the twists out of your kill line. Get all the twists out of your bridle. Extend over your shoulder. Grab the hacky with your hand there and stretch. You're pulling the kill line out so it's not bunched up in the bridle. Check it's catching air. And you can also check your little mark is in the window. Make sure your lines are nice and tensioned. They're not slack. You don't stand on them. You can feel the grommets are just here. Make a nice little bunch in front of the grommets. Stick both knees on. And you've got the centre line going down the middle. Just gently squidge out all the air. What I do is grab tail, so you're grabbing just the tail fabric, squidge out the air, and you grip your hand halfway between the seam and the edge of your wedge. Do the same on the other side, squidge out all the air, and fold under. Now we're forming the sausage. Now the fun bit, get to lie on it, squidge out all that. Get up gently, grab just above the grommets, the first S-fold, stick a knee on it. Grab both bits of the back skin, push this down, you're forming the S-fold and squidging out air. Tuck in these excess bits, use your forearm to hold it nice and neatly. There's no stress, there's no rush at this point, it's not going anywhere. Replace your knee with your hand, because my canopy is still quite slippery. Most people stick their knee on at this point, I don't. But when you do, remember you're not putting your whole body weight onto your knee. There, I just use one knee, not much pressure, all it's doing is holding the bag there. Get fingers underneath, index fingers locking this in, and just grab the grommets, and you're working the bag round the canopy, not the canopy into the bag. So you're controlling it. Nice. Stand the whole bag up, stick it between your knees. Just make sure it's nice and neat. Grab your first mouth lock. Elastic to it, and you're presenting the bag to the grommet. So you're not busting elastic bands and putting unnecessary strain on them. Grab your lines, so making sure they're nice and neat and tensioned. Nice and neat and tensioned. First stow, and try and make it a nice big one, about 1.5 inches, 2 inches. I'm definitely of the rule, I prefer my bungees to be tighter than slacker, because I reckon I'd prefer to have a bag lock than have line dump and become a nasty mull. The stows, lines get thin after the cascades. I still want the bungees to be tight. I don't want the stows just to come out very easily, so double stow. Nice inch and a half. Okay, and working to the middle of the rig. Alright. Generally the length you want to leave is about 3 feet of slack, so I'm not doing this tight, it's pretty much a dummy stow. It's just there to keep the lines neat while I put it in the rig. I double check my pilot chute at this point, still catching air. Awesome. Now make sure your rig is ready, take the weight out, make sure the tray is nicely presented, nicely flat, get your pull-up cord. Make sure your closing loop's in good nick, it's not frayed and not falling apart. Nothing sticking out to snag or catch or braid. Now, I'm going to grab the bag in a manner that you're not going to rotate it. Grab the line so don't pull out your stows, and just gently put it behind. Now sort out your risers. Not twisted. Under there, you're shaping the shoulder. Tuck it in, nice and neat. Do the other side. Stick your knee on there. And just grab the lines there and you're pulling forward, making sure the risers are nice and even in there. You're going to free stow the loose lines in the bottom, so they're nice and neat and not tangled and stuff. Put it in nicely. There we go. Now here you don't bugger up your stows, get your hand over them and just gently pull up and neaten it up. Make sure it's going to close nicely. If memory serves you, jumper wings. Closing sequence is bottom, top, right, left. Nice and tight. Bottom, top. Make sure the grommets are meeting. Stick a knee on. Now while it's not going anywhere, sort out my bridle. Went a little bit past. Now if you pull the corner over properly, it just makes a neater pack job. flap in the corner. Nice. If you hook that under your pin, give it a little tug, it's now under the pin, it's not wearing away at your closing loop. Make your closing loop last a little bit longer. You want a little bit of a snatch here, so when you throw your pilot chute, it's not got a geometric lock. If it's nice and tight, it's a lot more force to pull it out. Likewise at the bottom. So, nice little bit of slack, so that when it comes out, it's going to really have a decent amount of force. Just a bit of light. Get leg straps out of the way. Make sure there are no tangles. The bridle. Nice. Spread it out. There are a million different ways of packing a pilot chute. It's just the way I've done it for a few hundred jumps. That's the way Wings had in its manual a few years back. Make sure it's nice and neat, because if you've got your bridle in the middle there, if it's slack and you let it go nasty, you don't want it's tying knots in itself, and you don't want bits of fabric getting in between those folds. Nice and gently, nice and neat. Other way is you pull the netting out, make a nice tight little bundle like that. Make sure your bridle's out the way, stuff it in. Now I run my finger between the pilot chute and the bridle, making sure it's not wrapping around the pilot chute. So if it does that, it's just going to kill it, and it's not going to have any pull force or any drag, because you're going to be streaming a little bit of fabric behind you. Give it a nice massage. It means you're not going to have a hard pull, hopefully. Nice, no pilot chute sticking out, no bridle sticking out. Nice and neat. Check your pins. It's good. Bridle, your risers are nicely hidden away. Good to check. Your cutaway is there. Your loop's in a decent enough condition. Your risers are connected, running freely. RSL's routed nicely. And, cool. Reserve handles nicely in. Cutaways nicely in. Nice. No real damage or wear and tear. There we go, Benny boy. Enjoy.